Bees are one of the most diverse groups of insects, with about 564 different species in North Carolina alone, more than 4,000 in North America, and more than 20,000 in the world. And these species can be very different from each other, leading them to interact with the landscape differently. Some species are as small as a grain of rice, while others could be as large as your thumb. Some are specialists and only eat from certain types of plants, while others have unique foraging behaviors, making them better suited to pollinate specific types of plants. For example, squash bees are specialist pollinators for plants in the family Cucurbita, while bumblebees and honeybees pollinate a wide variety of flowers. Depending on the species, bees also build their nests in a variety of substrates, including underground, in dead sound wood, dead rotting wood, stems and twigs, and cavities, such as tree hollows or old rodent burrows. Now, when we say bees, we are referring to all of these species. This includes native wild bees, such as sweat bees, leafcutter bees, carpenter bees, and bumblebees, but it also includes introduced or managed species, such as the honeybee and blue orchard bees. Having a diversity of bee species is extremely important to ensure that the diversity of plants in our landscapes get the pollination they need. We need to consider this with wild plants, landscape plants, and agricultural crops. Ecological diversity stabilizes agroecosystems and wild spaces by providing beneficial interactions, like pollination, between species. Additionally, diversity in a population allows for greater resilience to changing environmental conditions, extreme weather events, or disease. However, bees are facing several stressors simultaneously, which is leading to population declines for some species. These stressors include habitat loss and fragmentation, poor nutrition, parasites and pathogens, pesticides, and climate change. And these stressors can work synergistically together to create larger impacts than they would alone. We know from previous work that planting habitat in agricultural areas does support bees, and we can see immediate benefits for bee abundance and diversity, and even crop yield. But how do you provide the right kind of habitat? When we think about supporting bees, we need to provide them with two things: food resources and nesting resources. Today, we will be focusing on food resources. Because bees are such a diverse group of insects, we need to think about including a diverse list of plants in a garden that would serve as a habitat for bees, so that we can support as many different species as possible. This means planting flowers that are different shapes, sizes, and colors, and flowers that will bloom at different times of the year. Make sure you are including enough plant species so that there are blooms from spring through fall. While there isn't one perfect plant species list for creating habitat, there are many resources that you can refer to. A collaborative research team that includes researchers from NC State University, NC Cooperative Extension, and the NC Botanical Garden are currently conducting a project to create recommendations for habitat establishment and maintenance. More information about this is coming soon. But generally speaking, whether you are using a seed mix or planting seedlings, you'll want to prepare your site. This includes clearing any grass or turf from your planting area. If you select plant species local to your region, you should not need to add any nutrients or soil amendments unless you already have some pre-existing concerns about your planting area. Once the habitat is established, maintenance is actually one of the most important pieces of upkeep for your pollinator habitat. Because this habitat is generally undisturbed once planted, a common issue is the establishment of weeds or the overgrowth of fast-growing species. Keep an eye on your habitat and make sure that these types of plants are not outcompeting the rest of the plant species. If they are, you'll need to remove them and ensure the habitat is providing the intended resources to bees. Planting pollinator habitat can provide benefits beyond supporting bees. These seeds from these plants can be used to establish more habitat, or can be an important food resource for other wildlife like birds. The roots from these plants can protect the soil and improve water quality. A research team from NC State University is currently investigating if planted habitat helps protect pollinator communities after extreme weather events and natural disasters, like Hurricane Helene that hit Western North Carolina in 2024. Whether you have a large field or space for a small container garden, consider establishing a pollinator habitat. Work with what you have, as any little bit can help, and you can always continue to add to your habitat year after year.